the Kosovo Security Force, and they will get to know in a few days, certainly before the end of this year, who has been successful in selection for the Kosovo Security Force. Now, those who are successful, and I think the NATO assumption is that around 1,500 of the KPC will move into the KSF. Their futures are set fair. So what we are really focusing on here is what happens to the rest. How do we best secure their future? Now, the pension law is, as I said at the outset, it's an important ingredient. It is probably the most important ingredient of setting their futures in the right direction. But it is not the only issue. There is a broader context that we need to consider here, and their futures need to be seen in that light as well.
Well, something that we've been reporting about last week as a media, it was that some of the barracks, actually it was the barrack called Zahir Payaziti, which did receive the order to hand over their base, and they didn't do it out of protest, although they really don't use the word protest in their vocabulary. And some other barracks also said that they will follow, they'll do exactly the same when they will be receiving their orders to hand over the base. Is this becoming a situation now?
I don't think this is becoming a situation in itself, and I'm not aware of the detail as you're giving it to me here. But I am aware that there is some concern within some areas of the KPC, and it's important that we address this. The plan of rationalisation that's underway at the moment is a KPC plan. It is a plan that has been drawn up by headquarters KPC for a purpose, because if Kosovo wants to move forward and to fulfill the requirements of the law on dissolution of the KPC and the law on the KSF, then there are certain things that it has to do. Rationalising its infrastructure and rationalising its equipment are both important elements of that. So these are really setting the conditions for the Kosovo Security Force of the future.
You are, as far as I understand, you are more responsible for the dissolvement of KPC, right? And who is more responsible for their integration? Because according to our Sarit package, there is also a phrase there which says that the international community will develop a demobilization and reintegration process for the KPC retirees. So that means that, I mean, when you read this, the reintegration process of these members is not only up to the government or local institutions, but it's also up to the international institutions, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just to correct you slightly, I have responsibilities for the KPC today, but in terms of what we could call the new tasks, the change that we see coming along, it is really NATO and KFOR that are overseeing this process. But the dissolution process, and I, of course, am taking a very keen interest in this, the dissolution process is largely built around the resettlement program that is being set up. And as you rightly refer, this is a program which is funded by the international community. NATO has set up a trust fund to fund a bespoke resettlement program for members of the KPC to help them to reintegrate economically into the Kosovo society.
Let's talk more specifically about certain proposals which have been made public lately. One of them, it was also General Salimi, which proposed creating a border police which will be filled by members which are not going to be members of the new security force, and you simply cannot say to these people, go home now, right? So he said that let's create a border police and let's have these people which are not going to be KSF members, let's have them border police. Is that a good idea?
Well, that at the end of the day is going to be a matter for the government. I mean, you're right when you say nobody wants to say to a KPC man, thank you, now you can go home. We have got to do more than that. And this is part of the dissolution with dignity process. Now, the major ingredient here, I have to say, is the resettlement program. This is the program funded by NATO, set to last for 3 years, which is being run by UNDP on behalf of NATO, and which will be employing the services of a Kosovo organisation, APAPK, who are employment specialists who have an excellent record of economic reintegration here within Kosovo.
The one called Employment Promotion Agency of Kosovo, right?
Exactly that.
So what exactly are going to do with those people? They're going to call them, or do these members have to go to the agency or to the UNDP and tell, okay, I'm someone who is left without a job, now what should I do?
No, the way this will work, at the start of next year, every KPC member